I feel like if I'm rushing and we're not understanding and it seems like we're going too fast, all you have to do is tell me. We're not in a hurry this year. Like, I have no idea what we're even going to do in the spring yet. So, I mean, I have plenty to choose from. It's just Algebra 2, you have a schedule, like you have to finish so much. Advanced Math, I just have some high points. So, let me do this one. I've got these numbers, 5, 6, 7, and it goes all the way up to 11. Okay, and it wants me to find the sum. Okay, this one's a basic one. I could just write them all out and find the sum, but I'll use my little formula. Okay, over there, do y'all remember the formula? You would be able to have that on the test. So this is what your formula is. These are your first and last numbers. That's always the easy part. What are my first and last numbers? 5 and 11. Okay. The n is the hard part. The n, you have to figure out how many numbers there are. Yes, on this one you could count it up and just see. But if I used the thing yesterday, I would subtract. What's 11 minus 5? 6. I'm counting by what? I'm going up by what? 1. So it's just 6 divided by 1. So it says that there would be 6 numbers, but it's actually how many? 7. You always have to add 1. Why? Because you have to include your first number. Because think about it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See how there's 7 of them? So that's why you always have to add 1. So that's going to be 7. No, you didn't have to use the formula on this, but we're just practicing. Okay, then I can just type all that in my calculator, or I would get 3.5. Why did I put 5 sub 1? I don't know what I did that. Times 16. What is 3.5 times 16? I'm just going to make sure. I get 56. That's the sum of all these terms. I'm just checking my answer. It's correct. Okay, do we kind of remember these? Do we want one more of those? One more of those. Okay. Let me do one that's more difficult. You want me to do one with negatives? Yeah, because, no, somebody said no. I'll do one with negatives. All right. Let's do -3. They kind of put them in parentheses just because it's negatives. Plus -6 plus -9 all the way to -30. Okay? So I'm going to write down my formula. Or I don't know what n is. I'll find that in just a second. What's my first term? -3. And what's my last term? -30. Always do that easy part. Okay? Now I have to find my n. So I take this number, be very careful, and I subtract this number. What is -30 minus -3? -27. What am I counting by? What am I going up by? Or I'm going down by 3. So I'm trying to think on this one what I'm thinking it would be -3. That's what I would do. Okay, we're going to do that. So what's -27 divided by -3? Because it's going down by 3. 9. But then I have to add 1. So what is 9 plus 1? 10. So what is 10 divided by 2? 5 times -33. And what do we get on this one? Oh, it didn't even ask for the answer, but we'll go ahead and finish. It asked for summation notation. What do we get? Negative what? 165? -165. Okay. If I was to add all those up, I would get -165. It makes sense. I would expect a negative number. Then, so what they really wanted us to do, I'll do this one. They want us to do summation notation. So we've got 105, 97, plus 89. It's a series. We're adding all the way to to negative 71, okay? Obviously, our numbers are going down. Now, this one does not want us to find an answer. It wants us to write it in summation notation. So what do we write? Well, first of all, I need a little formula, right? So I'm going to have to figure out, my answer would look something like this. N's going to go from 1 to something, and I have to have a little formula for it. So we have to make the formula. To me, these were the hard ones yesterday, all right? So I'm going to go to my explicit formula. It's written up there on the board, and it says, okay, or I'll write it so we have it right here. It's A plus N minus 1 times D. So what is my first term? It's 105. Since it's a formula, my N stays in, okay? I don't know what I'm calling a formula. I don't really know what else to call it. So that's just what I'm going to call it. Now, my difference, what's happening every time? It's going down how much? 8. What number is down 8? Negative 8. So I'm going to do that. Now I distribute and combine like terms, okay? So I've got 105 minus 8n plus 8. Any questions on that part? We're okay with that? Then just combine your like terms. So that's 105 and 8. So I've got negative 8n plus, what is that, 113. So that's my little formula. Negative 8n plus 113.
Can we pause for a second?
Yes. And I have one thing left to do, so we will pause.
So that's the formula you use?
Yes. So
always?
this, yes. So today, we're going to keep going with arithmetic today. So we're only looking at the arithmetic box up there. That's the red one again. Okay, they're the one with the red. So I use that every time, and it's going to give me my formula every time. Okay? But I'm not quite done. Because I have to go from 1 to a number. I have to figure out what number I'm going to. Which is what we've been doing that. You have to find your N. Here, I'm going to press pause while y'all copy that. For the next part, we have to find, I start at 1, how many terms am I adding? Do we feel like counting, like writing all this out and counting it? No. So it's the same thing as before. I do this number minus this number. What is negative 71 minus 105? Oops, 71 minus 105. What is it? Oh yeah, negative 176. And then I divide it by, we said we're going down 8, didn't we? So I divide that by negative 8. That was a negative 71. That's that number. Minus that number. It's negative 176. Divide it by negative 8, because that's what my change is every time. What is that? 22, but then we have to add 1 to it. So it goes up to 23. So that would be my summation notation.
And you just put 23 on the top.
Yep, so 23 goes on the top.
So if it asks you to solve, would 23 be the number you plug in?
So if it asked for the series, I'm getting that.
Okay.
Is that on your worksheet?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I was just asking if that's what that meant, like the 23 on top.
Well, yeah, it means that we would go all the way up through 23 terms. We would add all 23 terms. And my terms would be, if I plugged in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the answer is 23, that little sign, and n equals 1.
And the formula beside it. So the whole answer is the sum of negative 8n plus 113 as n goes from 1 to 23. That's what that means. A summation notation. I think that's how they say it. That's how I say it. Oh, they also call these things limits when you get to calculus. This is in calculus. as well. This is basic calculus. But they'll call them limits. Have y'all ever seen, probably not, but I've seen math teachers, they'll have these signs in their classroom and it says, the sky's the limit. Have y'all ever seen those? I don't know, maybe not. But that's why, because they do limits in calculus. So, anyway. This is what, I'll move that, but this is what it would look like talking about limits. And I did not learn this until, I didn't learn this until calculus in college. But I didn't take advanced math, I took trig my senior year. So, that's probably why.
So do you introduce to calculus?
This stuff, like, are you talking about?
In advanced math.
Yeah, it's random stuff. Like I do like an intro to statistics. That's probably my favorite thing to teach in this class. That's next. And there's projects and games, like tons of games in statistics class and probability. So I do all that. I think probability gets you ready for finite math. I've never taught that. I don't know much about it. Statistics would get you ready for if you take statistics in college. And then this stuff maybe kind of, this is very, very basic for calculus. But I don't know how ready I would have you for calculus. So, are you going to have to take calculus? Because,
Hates her calculus.
yes, so I was going
to
to
drop out.
say, they are not allowed to use calculators. I think that's what's killing her, is they're not allowed to use calculators in that class. A graphing calculator.
She said after this test, if she fails this test, because she's
When's her test, today?
I think it's today or tomorrow, and she said if she fails it, then she's going to drop the class
Yeah.
and pick up
And
another one.
probably get a better teacher. So, but I've never had a teacher where you take college algebra and you have to know how to use the calculator and use it, and then you go to the next class a step up and you can't use a calculator. That blows my mind. But yeah, that's why I'm like, gosh, I can't believe, don't just rely on your calculator. Okay, so next one, another one of those. Yes? Yeah, I'm talking to you too. Or you could be lucky. Like, we used calculators in college. Like, I never had a math class that we didn't use one. So that's the first time that I've seen that. Okay, do y'all want one more of that where we write summation notation? Yes. If I'm going to do random.
So would you do it the same way, like, it like gives a series and it says for like 15 terms? Do you still do it the same way?
Does it ask for summation notation, or is it asking for, so you're going to go from 1 to 15.
Okay.
So you don't have to find how many terms it is. It tells you. Okay,
So that's
because
the top number?
N is the number of terms. So that's great that it tells you that's one less thing to find.
Oh.
But now what you will have to do, though, is write your formula.
So
Do you have a formula yet? Did they give you a formula?
I wrote it, I like did it the way you did with the N.
Yeah, it did, but don't you? Oh, yeah, that's all you need. Yeah, I'm thinking something else. Okay, let me do another one. Let's see. I've got 4, 8, 12, all the way to 20. I'm just going to leave it like this. I only have one more number to write, but I'll just do that. Okay, so I'm going to write it in summation notation for my answer. So I'm going to go from 1 to some number. First thing I have to figure out is my formula, right? So I'm just going to use that over there. So what's my first term?
4.
4 plus n minus 1 times what am I going up by?
4.
4. So it's going to be a positive 4 since I'm going up by 4. Is everybody good with that? Then we distribute and combine every time. Distribute, combine. So I'm going to get 4 plus 4n minus 4. So I distributed. Now I combine. What's 4 minus 4?
0.
So all I'm left with is 4n. Did I do this one yesterday? Okay. So that's my little formula. Now I need to figure out how many numbers there are. Y'all, this one I could just count them. Or we can do our same thing. I can do 20 minus 4 is what? 16. I'm counting by 4s. What's 16 divided by 4?
4.
And then I add 1, right? And that would be 5 terms. Because it would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it would just be 5 terms. Is that getting any better yet? A little bit? Maybe? Huh? It is just weird.
So will the n equals 1 will it always be 1?
Always be 1, yes. For us. Now, as if you were to do pre-calculus, calculus, or whatever later, they may...
I just saw one up there earlier.
Yeah,
N
so
equals 3.
this problem, yes, it's different. So that's why I'm saying for us, that's how we're going to start, like, because we're talking about terms. We're starting at a first term. This is looking more like at limits. So, and we're not quite doing that.
So what formula is that?
This right here, this is just summation notation. But this formula right here, all we're doing yesterday and today is this arithmetic sequence. Or it's now a series, but we're using this. I told y'all we barely use recursive formulas. We mainly use this one, and then when we move on to geometric one last time, we'll come back down to this one, okay? So, and what we might do like our study guide for a couple days if it's kind of confusing, that's fine, and we'll just practice, because I'll have this on the board for the test, and you'll just practice knowing, oh, which one do I use, okay? I can kind of write it better if I need to. Okay, everybody good? Because this is also for arithmetic. So see, I think I have a new formula for G. I'll need to redo this nicer. All right. Now, let's see. Do y'all want me to do another of anything I've done so far? Did y'all do all these from the worksheet? Yeah, let me see what's on there because I don't...
Dot. These are like for 15 terms, for 10 terms.
Okay, so that's nice because it tells you what your N is. If it tells you 15 terms, then you're writing 15. If it tells you for 10 terms, you're writing 10.
And you just have to do the formula.
And then, let me see. Y'all are on like number 6. Yeah, so you have to figure out your formula. So you already know, like if I was to start your number 6 with you, I'll let you figure out your formula, but you know, okay, I've got my little summation, that little sigma, and then you've got from n equals 1 to 15, right? Because you always start at 1, and it tells you 15 terms. You have to find your formula. Do you remember how to do that, Mary Claire?
Yes, ma'am, I think.
It's the red box up there. That's what you'll do. I'll pause this, and y'all can do, y'all should be able to finish this paper, I think.